Hi everybody, and welcome to my facilitation of discussion for Chapter 13, Making Happiness and Health a Priority. I'm excited to talk about this chapter because I actually teach high school health, and so this is a passion of mine, and we're going to look at how it relates to gifted students as well. So the first question the chapter poses is, how do you approach the future with children? This may seem like it doesn't really have much to do with health, but in reality, when we look at the future and our questions are future focused, it actually adds stress and other health implications to children without even thinking about it. So a very common question is, what do you want to be when you grow up? So this chapter actually poses that we should focus on the present tense. Questions like, what would make you happy right now? What would make you successful in class right now, instead of posing all these future questions. So I actually want to take a second to step out of the chapter because I think in order to understand health and how to give it to students, you need to understand the basics of health. So often, like if you ask what is health, that's a loaded question. That's hard to answer. I teach a whole year on that. And so simply put, I just want to look at the health triangle. And now kind of, especially in Tennessee, what the standards set is there's three corners of the health triangle: physical health, mental emotional health, and social health. You might have learned it a little bit differently growing up like I did. I had spiritual health in there, mental and emotional were separate, environmental health was a thing, but now it's simplified. And so when looking at children, we want to look at how do we improve physical health, how do we improve mental emotional health, which is a huge one in schools right now, and how do we improve social health. And not only improve those, but how do we balance those to maintain a holistic health. All right, so how do you maintain and improve health, right? There's a lot of ways. You can think of many ways, but some examples your book gave, especially with children, things children can do. Go spend time in nature. Nature's healing. Nature provides natural exercise opportunities and fresh air opportunities. Practice relaxation and stress management. These tools are very important, especially for children, especially as they're going through school and receive lots of, school's stressful. I mean, it is. Tests are stressful. Being in an environment like school can be stressful for some kids. So how do you relax? That has to be taught. And then engage in recreation and enjoyable activities. What do your kids, what do they like to do? Not just your students, but maybe your personal kids as well. Go outside, go play. These are all ways to improve and maintain health. So let's look at these a little deeper. Spending time in nature, and your chapter dives into these a little bit. So your nature deficit disorder is something that it looks at basically due to technology. Students are spending so much time on screens, and then also just today's outside dangers. Do you trust your kid to be outside? These are setbacks to spending time in nature, but the importance of it and taking time to do it. Nature promotes and develops senses. It provides silence as well to process. When you go outside, obviously if you're in a big city and there's a bunch of honking cars, it's not silent, but if you get out into nature, there's a beautiful silence, and it allows the brain time to process. And then a lack of this can lead to attention difficulties and increased physical and emotional illness. I will say personally, when I was coaching basketball years ago, I was actually put in the hospital because of a vitamin D deficiency because I was not outside in the sunlight enough, which is crazy. But nature has natural remedies and natural healing things to improve health. So it's important to get outside with your kids. So also your book says to practice relaxation and stress management. So excess stress is bad for your health. We know this, right? Practice management. Practice managing that stress. Use breathing techniques. Look at mindfulness. Take 60 seconds. Listen to your phone and your watch when it says take a minute to breathe. For gifted students, because this is a gifted class, be conscious of connecting emotions to the body's response, right? So really processing those emotions and going above and beyond, like, I'm mad. Well, why? Why are you mad? Why? What caused you to be mad? What can get over you being mad? That kind of thing. And then at home, taking time to have intentional breaks. Sometimes life can get super busy. Make sure that you're building into your schedule for your kids. Or as a teacher, you're telling parents, build in those breaks for kids. Build in a 30-minute break to go outside and play. Build in a 30-minute break to just sit and relax instead of don't put on big flashy lights on the TV. That's important. And engage in recreational, enjoyable activities. It is pushed heavily in schools. Get your kids in extracurricular activities. There's so much research that shows the importance of doing extracurricular activities. It could be sports, it could be band, it could be chess club, it could be a wide range of things. These provide social opportunities for social health as well as physical and mental health. Every time I teach this to my students, and it always kind of blows their mind. There's so many of these extracurricular activities that fit all three corners of the health triangle and help balance it. And then look for what kind of sparks joy in children. Sometimes it's hard as the brain develops to verbalize what they enjoy. So look for signs of enjoyment and not just them saying that they like this stuff. And then have fun in everyday life with your kids. Make cooking fun. It's okay to throw flour across the kitchen. It cleans up. Make cleaning fun. Basically take these everyday mundane tasks and make them enjoyable for students. Your book goes through some other ways to stay healthy. And like I said, I teach a whole year on this, so I'm trying not to talk too long, but exercise. So, I mean, that's an obvious one for physical health, but there are so many good things it does for mental health and even social health. Proper nutrition and diet, having good relationships, working on your religious or spiritual involvement, and then just serving others. All these are ways to stay healthy and have depth to them and not just surface. Like exercise, okay, I can lift more weights. There's a lot more to it and your body's response than simply that. Right? And then create new habits. Habits are a good thing. But it has to be good, healthy habits, right? So health, and when you're creating these new habits, health in life has to be a priority. It's so easy to let health go by the wayside. That's kind of the easy route, is to not be healthy, to sit on the couch and do nothing, is what I always say. So health has to be a priority when creating new habits. And it doesn't have to be huge. You don't have to start going to the gym 2 hours a day or whatever it may be with your kids. It could be, hey, we're going to take 5 minutes of just like silent thought at home when we get home from school. Or, hey, let's turn the radio and TV off on our drive home from school. I don't know if maybe I pose this question here in a second. We'll look at it. But what habits can you create? Like, what would be simple to put into your schedule? So a couple discussion questions besides that one. Feel free to answer all of them, one of them in your discussion post here. So how do you and your family make health a priority? Especially if you have kids, how do you make it a priority for them? All right. Second question, what makes you smile? What makes your children or your students smile? What take time to focus on those sparks of joy. And I want you to answer that one. What health topics presented stand out to you in relation to gifted children, right? So I didn't get to mention gifted children a whole lot in the presentation, a little bit, but as this class is about giftedness, what stands out to you about these and what you've learned about gifted students? Then can focusing on increasing health increase creativity? Another shift towards kind of looking at the creative mind of gifted students. So can health increase creativity? So I appreciate you listening to this facilitation and discussion from this chapter about health in our students. And I look forward to everything that you write.